Did Paul Allen just leak the Vikings draft plans? What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. On today's show, do the Vikings have a handshake deal with a team to trade up in this year's draft? Let's talk about it and kick it to Paul Allen because he had this to say a couple days ago on the Vikings draft plans. He says those two picks and whatever else are going to be used for a QB very high in the first round. I also believe they have a metaphorical verbal handshake with somebody. I happen to think it's 5 with the LA Chargers, more so than 4. And my reaction was this was just the eyeball emojis because Paul Allen came out and pretty much said if the Vikings can't trade up to get pick number 2, pick number 3, he believes they already have a handshake deal, whether that's with the Arizona Cardinals, Los Angeles Chargers, to trade up in this year's draft. We'll get to more of that in a second. But first, guys, we are in a sub battle with our Falcons Today show here at Chat Sports. If you guys want to help me out and stay up to date on the latest around your Minnesota Vikings and this year's draft, hit that sub button, lock us in. Maybe we can hit 24,200 subs just off this video. Hey, they took our quarterback, but I'm not trying to lose in this sub battle. So lock us in as you go to Vikings YouTube channel, and let's talk about what Paul Allen had to say. So do the Vikings have a deal done to move up in this year's draft? Let's talk about it. So Paul Allen necessarily said that he believes that they have a handshake deal to trade up with either pick number 4 or pick number 5. And all I have to say is to the Vikings front office is you guys got to be careful if you are going all in on pick number 5, which Paul Allen thinks they will do so. Because let's just say you send all the draft capital up to the Los Angeles Chargers, pick 11, pick 23, that leaves the door open to a team like the Denver Broncos, the Las Vegas Raiders, even a team like the New York Giants to trade up and jump them. And then also Sean Payton had this to say about Denver possibly trading up. He says, I think that's realistic. I think it's realistic. What's hard to predict, though, is what's on the receiving end. I think it's a good day to be Monty today at Arizona, Monty being the Cardinals GM. So it's hard to predict what that cost is, and yet I certainly wouldn't say it's unrealistic. He says we will pay close attention to it. And listen, guys, like if the Vikings want to go get their guy, they can just go up and get them. Like, I really do believe the Vikings have the most ammunition, the most draft capital, the best offer they could send to a team, either picking 2, 3, 4, or 5. And yes, the Denver Broncos, if they want to throw in Pat Surtain, cornerback, they could definitely do so. And maybe they make their offer a little better than the Minnesota Vikings. But the Vikings can send either, let's just say they want to go up to get pick 2 or 3, they can send them multiple first-round picks and even more future draft capital. But even if it's trading up with the Cardinals, they can send 11, 23, and maybe even more to go get maybe a guy like J.J. McCarthy. And that's why I think the Vikings have 2 options here. They got the all-in choice where they are sending 3+ first-rounders and maybe an extra 3rd-round pick and an extra 4th-round pick. And they're going up and getting a guy like Drake May at either pick number 2 or pick number 3. Or they have the secondary option, which is still a pretty all-in move. You're sending multiple first-round picks to go draft Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy. I am leaning more likely, just like Paul Allen said, that they have a handshake deal with either the Los Angeles Chargers or the Arizona Cardinals to go trade up. And Ben Gosselin, who covers the Minnesota Vikings, even had more juice to suggesting that they already have a deal done. This is what he had to say. He says, I think the Cardinals have to be where you look first in terms of trading up. If you're picking QB4, you're not the only team that is going to be in the market for that player. The Broncos, I think, are going to be exploring the possibility of a move up. And listen, don't risk it, Minnesota Vikings front office members. Do not take the chance of, let's just say you make this deal right now. We get that notification, oh my God, the Vikings are getting the 5th pick in this year's draft class. You are just asking for a team to slide in there, trade multiple first-round picks to go trade up with the Arizona Cardinals and go get their guy. I think the Vikings are in a great spot, and honestly the best spot out of any team to go up and get their quarterback. But let's just say they're sitting there at 5, and then some team trades up to 4, and then it goes quarterback, 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 quarterback. What are the Vikings going to do with that 5th pick? you going to go take Marvin Harrison? Are you going to go take one of these top tackles? Or are you going to say F it and still take a quarterback? All I have to say is if you have a guy that you really believe is going to be a franchise quarterback, if it takes an extra third rounder to move up to 4 instead of 5, just do it. Do not take the risk. I just beg of you, because it would be a disaster if we're sitting there on draft night and the first 4 quarterbacks are gone, and then the Vikings are sitting there at pick 5 saying, what the hell are we going to do? But I want to ask you guys this. In terms of trading up for a quarterback, I feel like it's more likely than not going to be J.J. McCarthy, just because I think the Commanders and Patriots are most likely going to stay on to picks number 2 and number 3. But would you trade up for the Michigan quarterback? Give me a T for trade or give me a P for pass down in the comment section. I'm still probably typing my T's for trade, because no matter what, the Vikings need to come out of this year's draft with a QB, and a guy like J.J. McCarthy would be a great choice. But let me know your thoughts down below. Coming up next year, we did have Kevin O'Connell drop 2 interesting quotes around J.J. McCarthy and Jaden Daniels, and I want to share those quotes with you guys here in a second. But first, I got to give a big-time shout-out to today's sponsor, and that is Game Time, the best ticket purchasing app out there. And when it comes to buying tickets, you shouldn't have to worry when you buy tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Some stuff I love about Game Time is when you actually go in the app and choose your seat, you can literally see the view right there in the app. I think it's a great kind of little addition, because it makes you not have to worry if you're going to get blocked off by a random pole in the stadium or whatever it may be. Game Time allows you to view your seat from the app. It's the lowest price guaranteed, and you get event cancellation protection and job loss protection. So make sure you guys get hooked up today. Use code CHATSPORTS, and we'll give you guys 20% off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I'll put that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show. So let's talk about it. Let's see what KOC Vikings head coach had to say about J.J. McCarthy and Jaden Daniels, and I absolutely loved what he had to say about the Michigan quarterback when he said this. He says, when you turn on J.J.'s third down tape, so only talking about third downs here with McCarthy, you see pretty high level production. And what does that normally lead to? Winning football games. J.J.'s got some really strong tape, and this guy is a winner. And my overall gut is telling me right now, the Vikings want J.J. McCarthy. Maybe it's smoke. Maybe it's just a bunch of BS rumors that they want to go up and get Drake May to kind of maybe lessen their offer that they would have to give up to trade up to pick 4 or pick 5. But my gut is telling me that they want J.J. McCarthy really bad, and they're probably going to have to trade up to pick 4 or 5, because I've seen a couple mock drafts that said that maybe McCarthy could fall to 11. I just disagree. But in terms of next team odds for J.J. McCarthy, you'll find the Vikings at the top of this list as they're a minus 110. Keep this in mind. Before the report came out from Tom Pelissero that many believe that the Commanders could take J.J. McCarthy at pick number 2, the Vikings were actually minus 135. So it dropped a little bit back to minus 110, and now the Commanders are in second at plus 350. But then you got the Giants there at pick number 6 at plus 350 as well. Denver as a trade-up candidate at plus 750. And then the Patriots. Something tells me at pick number 3, maybe New England will be trying to land the Michigan quarterback once again. But let's talk about some more J.J. McCarthy stats here and kind of relaying it back to what Kevin O'Connell had to say about him playing on third down. Now, in terms of all percentage of passes thrown last season, J.J. had the highest percentage on third down and long. Obviously, we know Michigan was a run-first team on first and second down. Obviously on third down, they're throwing the ball a whole lot more. But 17.8% of his passes came on third and long. In comparison to other quarterbacks, Drake May at 14, Williams at 13, Penix at 12, Bo Nix at 11, and Jaden Daniels at 10. And a lot of casual fans automatically see this and they go, well, even on third downs, Michigan was running a lot of check downs. They were running a lot of screen plays. There was a lot of throws to the flats. And frankly, that's just not the case because J.J. McCarthy was pushing the ball downfield all the time on these long third down situations, and this is what Dynasty Factor, he does a ton of great work in terms of evaluating quarterbacks in the NFL draft. In terms, because somebody asked him, they said, who is the lowest yards per attempt on third and long in this year's class? He said actually not McCarthy. It was McCarthy that led the pack in air yards per attempt. So on third and long situations, he had an average air attempt of 13.1. In comparison, it was only 6.4 for Michael Penix, 8.2 for Williams, 8.8 for May, 10.7 for Daniels, and 11.9 for Nix. This whole narrative that J.J. McCarthy doesn't like to push the ball downfield, he can't get it done in third and long, I think it's the worst narrative out there on him. If you want to say, yes, he was carried by the rest of his roster in winning these games, and he wasn't the driving force, I totally get that. But in terms of him, his ability to push the ball downfield and just convert third and longs, he might be one of the best in this year's draft class. Now, talking about Jaden Daniels here, this is what Kevin O'Connell had to say, because somebody asked him, can he throw in the pocket? Because we've heard the report, or we've heard kind of the speculation that Jaden Daniels, he's just that playmaker. He can't stand in the pocket and deliver strikes down the field. Well, no, this is what Kevin O'Connell had to say. He said, no, I think he absolutely can. I think he's proven that. And when you really dive into his tape, that's one of the exciting things about a player like Jaden Daniels. And it just kind of let me kind of get this light bulb going off in my head, and maybe a little bit of a conspiracy here, but what if all this talk about Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, that the Vikings are in love with those two prospects, what if it's just all a smokescreen to land Jaden Daniels? What if this is their number one guy? What if they want to keep that LSU connection and have Jaden Daniels throwing to former LSU Tiger Justin Jefferson? Something to keep your eyes out on. But also, Ian Rappaport had this coming out today. So LSU is doing their pro day today when you guys are seeing this video. And he has some visits with some teams here. And he's meeting with the Patriots, Commanders, Giants, Vikings, Broncos, and Raiders. Probably the 6 teams that are most likely to draft a quarterback. And my old take with Jaden Daniels, he's a great quarterback. I think he would really fit well in the Kevin O'Connell system. He can throw the ball over the middle of the field incredibly well. And hey, I don't put a lot of juice in the pro days, but from what I've seen so far, the dude's got a cannon. He can make every throw in the book, touch every blade of grass on the football field. I would be absolutely thrilled if the Vikings landed the LSU quarterback, but I would honestly be thrilled if the Vikings landed any of these quarterbacks. And you guys got to let me know. Pick a QB for me. You're Kwesi right now. You're sitting there. I'll just say at pick 2. Give you guys the pick of the litter. Give me a JJ for JJ McCarthy. Give me a JD for Jaden Daniels. Or give me a DM for Drake May. Now, I do want to say thank you guys so much for showing support on the channel over the past couple of weeks. We just hit 24,000 subscribers, but I don't want to stop there. I want to reach 25K. So if you guys haven't already, lock us in as you go to Vikings YouTube channel and hit that sub button. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.